Okay, special guest. Welcome.
Hello, hello. Thank you, Jack.
The man, the legend, the guy who asks all the great questions. Actually, we should have the full name here because people, they see you as Graham on the live streams.
Yeah, no, I need to change my live stream name. I think I'm getting too popular here.
So this is Graham. You've seen his questions come in on our on all the live streams, and so this is great stuff. Hammy, where are you right now? Are you in Vancouver?
Yeah, I'm in Vancouver.
Okay.
I live in the TFSA dream.
Okay. Oh, yeah. So I just found I only found out how this works because we had a conversation and you told me about this. I didn't know. So basically, in Canada, you can compound your money tax free in this account.
Yeah, as long as you're not deemed to be day trading.
Okay.
So I mean, you need to trade quite a bit, or you might get flagged if you're over six figures or something like that. But I haven't really heard any of those stories. As long as you're like holding long term and not flipping stocks over and over again.
Okay. So basically, this program, it would make sense. The fast lane strategy. I know this sounds like a lot of hype. It does sound like it's hype, but it's actually kind of reality. I think I can guarantee somebody in the audience. I don't know if on today's somebody's going to do this because it could be done. I mean, people do this all the time.
Yeah, I mean, if you would have told me this 5 months ago, I would have thought you were crazy. But I mean, we're seeing it like live right now with my first stock I got into was NTAR, and that one took off, and then now Doc's taken off. And if I would have been following that strategy earlier on, who knows, maybe I could have been at that point. But now we're seeing it with Peak, and there's so many great opportunities out there to invest in growth stocks that are undervalued, like you said. And yeah, like it's life changing. Like this program itself, watching NTAR and how the CEOs communicate, and you're learning like the insides and out of the companies. It's such a big deal, and you build these communities, like even with the Discord, like you get all these people with similar interests that sharing knowledge and sharing experience. It's just such a powerful tool to invest, and it's nothing that we've seen before. It's like there's all this new money coming into the markets, and the market's been behind on technology too, and now we're seeing it with social media, guys pumping stocks on YouTube and Twitter. There's a great opportunity here, and I think you're nailing it like on the head right now.
I think we're in a golden age. I mean, I think we're in a kind of a golden age of the micro cap market because you have right now, you have some really interesting companies out there. You've always had interesting companies, but right now there's companies that could really become like those 100x because the technology is old. There's a lot of just opportunities, but most importantly, you have a new wave of buyers out there and investors. You have I guess it's the millennials. They're much more into finding these stocks on social media. Especially I think because of this TFSA thing in Canada. I think that's what's happening is it also you have these no commissions. I mean, everything is just like the stars are kind of lined up where you can have a massive bull market. I mean, listen, I wouldn't be surprised if the general market drops. I don't know, it could drop 50%. Why not? I don't know. I'm not I don't have a crystal ball, but there's always there's always a bull market somewhere. So I mean, like even if the Dow drops 30% next month, you could have a massive rally in junior gold mining stocks or cannabis or whatever. There's always a sector, and we want to be in that sector. We want to have like the companies in that sector. So okay, so Hammy, let me ask you a question. So you've been following a couple of the live streams. Which companies like? What's your criteria? Like, I mean, I know you've seen a bunch of them, but you've only invested in a handful. So why do you choose certain companies? What's your kind of thinking behind it? Like, how do you make the buying decision, and how do you make the selling decision?
Well, I think a big part of it comes down to like some of the points you said, like being undervalued. So like low market caps with massive growth potential, with like step changing technology. Like you think of the Icann in the cannabis industry with their step changing technology, or peak, even with fintech. There's nobody else really doing what they're doing. So like you said, the possibilities there for growth and scale are endless, right? So if you look at that, you look at the stock price, you kind of take the market cap against versus where they could scale to. Like early days in Doc, it just made so much sense when it was 54 cents with a market cap of 30 million. They own their own tech. They're
money, right? I mean, at that it was like a gift. Basically, I mean, look, there's always the stock can go to any stock can go to zero, right?
Oh, for sure.
Let's look. At that 30 million market, because I think that's the thing. You got to look at the market cap, right?
Yep.
30 million market cap, and that's like a hot sector. This is back in the summer. Teledoc was or TDoc was already up massively then, and cloud was still in the basement.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's crazy. Like you look at like even some of the stocks that we're following now. Like there's some that aren't on the show, but like Peak, for example, like the market cap, they're trading 1x revenue with like a projected revenues of 40 million for this year, and their market cap was like less than that. So like and they're just scaling and more news coming out, more deals, and it's just I don't know. Like I know it's high risk, but is it really high risk at that point? Like it's crazy that these stocks are trading like that, and it all comes down to just nobody knows about them. They're just hidden gems sitting in the CSE or the OTC, and that's where I think like these programs and the communities and all that have such power to show that, right? And just like you said, if you have a CEO that understands that and uses that to help drive the stock, it's game changing, really.
Okay. So you made an interesting point actually, and again, this is going to sound self-serving, maybe but it's the reality because we're in the promotion business. But look, the reality is the job of a company CEO is to make the stock go up. I mean, at the end of the day, right? I mean, you're buying the stock because you're paying $1 because you want to sell that stock at $10 or whatever the number is, whatever the number is, $5, $10. You're not going to be happy if the stock is 70 cents a year later or 2 years later, are you?
Yeah, exactly. There's a couple that I
triple.
Yeah.
If the stock stays, so the thing is, it's critical. I think this is the thing that we look at is the companies that do well, like this next super stock thing, is because those guys are making an investment they're investing money, but they're investing time because they have to show up on our program 2-3 times a month. Because look, we don't our thing at Wall Street Report is we don't make recommendations. We don't say, oh, this company is great. I might say my personal opinion, but we don't. That's not the business. The business is we take a CEO, we take, let's say, money manager, whatever it is, and they tell their story in their own words to the audience, and the audience, you decide. So the CEO has got to show up. They got to be, the great guys are always the ones who are transparent, right? So they show up when there's good news, when there's bad news. They're always there. And they answer every question.
Yeah, for sure.
How many do that?
It's all about like engagement and just engaging your fan base, just like any athlete, for example. Like the guys that are engaging and out there in public, they're the ones that succeed more when it comes time to deals and shoes and all that, right?
That's a great metaphor. I didn't think about that, but yeah, I mean the guys who are good, it's like they have they're I mean you might say they're showmen, they're kind of they're creating a brand, but if they build a fan base, they make money, right? And the same thing with stocks. If the CEO builds the brand of the stock, the stock goes up. So hang on a second. We got. Let's go to some. Hammy, feel free to jump in with any of these comments here. Okay, so this guy here, Mr. Dato says he's been doing it. He's been doing the fast lane. Fast lane. Wait. Now hold on a second. Did you get out of Doc and parlay into Peak? What did you do? I'm curious. And what price did you get in? By the way, my opinion is I don't think Doc has peaked yet. We're maybe halfway in, maybe a third of the way in. Let's see here. So this guy, Ashar, had a 10-bagger Neo, bought at 11. Wait, at 11, the stock is, did they split? I don't know. Did they split? So 4-bagger maybe. let's see. Okay, so wow, a lot of people here. A lot of people. Okay, so a lot of people did buy Neil, which is great. Okay, same guy says he bought 100,000 doc at a buck. At a buck. Okay, now what's your exit price? Do you have an exit price? Are you going to wait? Like, what's the? That's the trick. The trick is to know, is to know when to get in and when to get out. So, Hammy, let me ask you a question. What's your strategy with these? Do you have an exit thing in mind? Do you write it down? Because I know I talked to Paul. Paul was saying he has just what did he say? He doesn't. I don't think he has. He just has. I forgot. We had him on. What do you do?
Well, I think like where are we at right now? Like a five or six times. So I think at that 10 times level, I'd probably reduce a little bit more, just because, like when it's at $7, like the chances of it getting to $20 is going to take a lot longer than investing into something like Peak, which is at $1.50. So the way I see it is Peak will be $5 before Doc gets to, $21. So like you said, when we talked, that like after a stock goes 10 times, for it to get to that next 10 times, it's a lot bigger of an accomplishment.
A hurdle, yeah.
So I mean, you kind of got to. I mean, if there's an opportunity, there's always opportunities, right? So, and for me, I like to still keep a safe position in these things because they're still growing, but at the same time, like with this fast lane strategy, you can take a decent portion out and at certain levels. So I typically, I think we're at a second inflection point. I think it's going to run at some point. Dr. Hamza bought some stock on Friday. I think that's a hint. So that's in my opinion, of course. But usually when Hamza buys, you buy. So I think we're going to see another run up pretty soon, and then reassess at that point. But yeah, like pulling out and getting into a new opportunity is definitely, we're uncovering hidden gems here. So stay tuned.
At the end of the day, look, I mean, it's about you got to keep money never sleeps, right? Mm-hmm. you got to keep it moving. I think cloud is gonna have. Listen, you never know. Some of these things could be, when let's say we bring out 20 companies, one out of 20 could go straight 100x over 3-4 years, 3 years. I'm sure it's going to happen. Yep. It'll probably be a resource stock because it's got to have that blue sky type of potential, because they can do it, because it's people are buying that. For sure, it's going to happen. I think cloud is going to have a big run. I think we did like a little chart thing, and they're in that trading range. They're going to break out of it. I mean, I think it's going to be $4.55 next, and then I mean, it could be a $10 stock by September next year.
Yeah, I think for sure it could be, the way that they're growing and making deals. No one else is doing what they're doing, so they're already on T-Doc's radar, like Dr. Hamza said. So they're just making stellar deals, and as soon as they keep expanding to the US, the story's just gonna get better.
What's your Hammy? What do you think of this comment here? You think cloud is already high?
I don't think it's high at all. I think there's still money to be made for sure moving forward. It's just like on your strategy, if you want to buy something and hold on to it for a long period of time, it's a great play. For sure. Like I'd be buying at these levels for sure. Like at 290, I think it closed, or 292 or something like that on Friday. That's a great level, because it's right at that, the triangle's formed, and it's ready to go at some point in time here.
It's coiling.
No, it's coiling. Just like it's done it 3 times. It's coiled 3 times.
Yeah.
At 3 different levels, and it's done the same exact thing. It's following the same exact pattern. You can look at the charts. It's going to happen, like, for sure.
Hammy, are you concerned about dilution in cloud?
No, I think one important thing to realize with what cloud's doing with their deals, their acquisitions, is they're not just buying for cash. And I think Dr. Hamza has said this quite a few times, that they're getting buy-in, right? So when they're acquiring these companies, they're providing stock options, which kind of gives these companies that they're acquiring a buy-in into the platform, to work harder to build the platform even further. When you buy something for cash, like, who knows what their incentives are. And like one of the things that stood out for me when Dr. Hamza was talking about these acquisitions is that when companies are asking for cash, it's kind of a red flag. Like, maybe they're just going to take the cash and run and not help, share the vision with him and the company moving forward. So that's kind of where I see that.
Let me add something else, is that here's the thing. The stock, again, the rising stock price creates a new reality. It's that creates the reality, because look, when the stock is $5, right, all of a sudden there's a lot more people that'll want to do a deal. They do acquisitions, because people, when they see the stock moving, they say, hey, I want to hitch, my hitch my wagon to this, shooting star, right?
Yeah.
So, when I think it just accelerates, as it's success creates success with these things. It's a self kind of fulfilling thing. And I think you're going to see like a velocity there. That's where the opportunity is. Great comment. It's always easier to buy than to sell. This is
never enough money.
Let's see here. Okay, so by the way, I should just also mention that we are on Discord now, thanks to Dr. Hammy. We have the Discord, the Wall Street Reporter Discord channel, and I would suggest, look, we got the channel, we got the stuff, but it's a different type of conversation. Like Hammy has the channels, so there's it's a different. I'm not sure how it's going to work, but it's a different. They're two different things, and you guys talk about different things. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So
we're working it out. It's going to be it's going to be a pretty solid thing that we're doing here.
And okay, hey Hammy, fans. What are your thoughts on fans?
Love fans. Stay tuned.
I
think the esports betting, online gambling, I think it's starting to really get traction even further. Like Ontario just passed a bill, I think it was last week, to start to allow the iGaming platforms and whatnot. And I was talking to one of my nephews who's 20 years old, loves League of Legends, and he's telling me that like millions and millions of people are watching these things, like more than the Super Bowl. So I mean, like you get that many people engaged, and all of a sudden you get to put betting into it, and it's like, it's the opportunity for growth is insane. So
this theme hasn't caught on yet. It's almost like it reminds, like the esports iGaming thing. It hasn't really. It's not a big thing yet. It's sort of like I was really expecting the esports thing to be kind of where telemedicine is right now. I would. Right. Sometimes these things take a while, kind of.
Oh yeah. Well, I think from what I was reading, it's like a lot of things, the technology was kind of lagging behind where it needed to be engaging to the people that would be betting on this stuff, right? So, and it seems like fans has kind of found that tech to drive it to that level. So, I think a lot of good things are coming for that. I think we're going to see in their revenues in the short term, either Q3 or Q4, that they're ready to kind of scale. And the platform that they have is kind of, once they get going, it's kind of like a recipe just to print money, pretty much. Like they're bringing in money on every transaction, like constantly, right? So
you want to kind of maybe explain to the audience, like in your own words, like the kind of where they are, the inflection point where they're going from 3 games to 10 game, whatever, the aggregators, the cash from each game. Can you wrap, like I want to kind of see, how would you put this into a bullet, like easy to understand thing for somebody in your own words? Like how would you?
Yeah, I mean, well, they have so many different parts to their business. Like the McBookie thing, they just announced they did 690K revenue in October. So times that by 12. I mean, that's a lot of revenue already, and their market cap is so low. So you take McBookie, and then they have all their other things. They have the 3 online games, and if they bump that to 12, I mean, that's another 4 times on top of whatever they're generating there. And I think those numbers for their 3 games are going to start becoming clear. And then their B2B and B2C, where they're licensing out their tech to other betting companies. It's hard to. It's one of those things where on the surface it doesn't look like it's going to be a lot, but people that understand how it works and like kind of the insides of the business, that it'll make sense. But until they actually show that those dollar values, the market's not going to catch on. So like, to me, it's kind of a good opportunity to get in. I mean, they're trading almost at the low, their 52-week low, and
yeah,
it's crazy. Like, and they're driving revenue, and their market cap is so low. So yeah, I'm excited. I had a email chat with the CEO last week, so I'm pretty excited to get things going.
Yeah, excellent. No, it's definitely, look, it's one of these things that, some of these stocks, it takes them kind of a while to, usually they take off, right, but sometimes it takes them kind of like a plane taking off. It's like, it's down the runway, it's building speed. These guys, it's kind of like a bit of a slower start. And the other thing is, they're not, I mean, they're young guys, so they're not really like they're not like, well, I'll put this way, they're not promoters like I'll give you an example. A great promoter is, we had Sheldon. Do you see Sheldon? Remember Sheldon?
Yeah, I watched that. Yeah.
Okay, so Sheldon, I think he's. I mean, we've had our differences personally, but I would say this guy is top 1% of CEOs I've ever met as a promoter, as a guy who pitches a story. Maybe one of the best out of thousands of companies I've come across. Really, the guy's incredible. So if we can make these guys, if we can like give them some of the Sheldon thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the nice thing about them though is they've surrounded themselves with talent too, and their board of directors and all that too, right? So if we can just work on the whole promotion thing, then I think, maybe we. But it'll come around. Like, it's hard. Like, me being on this video, like I was super nervous about doing this. So I can only imagine being a CEO of a company trying to like promote your company, and this is like your shot to kind of prove yourself. It is nerve wracking. I think you see it even with Peak with the first couple interviews. You could tell it was a little bit kind of standoffish and nervous, and then the last interview is just like pure smiles and just driving home all the key points. And it was a game changer for me. Like, just seeing that, it was like, okay, it's time to load up, right?
Yeah, no, because listen, no, this is true. Like, you're dealing with human beings, right? It takes people sometimes a while to kind of, it's a new format maybe, and not everybody's. I mean, just because the guy's running a public company doesn't mean he's done. This is basically like television, right? Essentially. No. So not everybody's used to doing it, and with Q&A, it takes a while kind of to do it, and so that's an interesting point. I mean, I think when I first started doing video, my face was not on the screen. I kind of had to see. I was like, in the thing, because I was like, I don't want to go on. But years back when we did like video, I mean, we were doing with Wall Street, we were doing like streaming. I think they call it streaming video. This is before YouTube put video. We shot like interviews we were doing a lot of mining stocks, like all the big mining stocks, and I mean, I had analysts do it. I didn't do this stuff. So it's but yeah, so it's these guys, like the human beings. But at the end of the day, it's I think these guys will do really good. Great question coming in here. Here multiple great questions, right? Okay, Hammy, would you buy Doc at current levels?
Yes. Not for our explosive growth fast lane strategy, but if you're looking for a nice safe haven to grow some money over the years, then yeah, for sure.
Because the other thing is also, at this level, in a way, even though the stock is up, in a certain way, the risk is less where it is now.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, it's not going down.
The risk today is lower than what it was at in July when it was 50 cents.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. It's and remember, they're still trading on the OTC pink sheets. They're still on the TSXV. They're not even on like a major. Once they move up to the TSE, even it'll be, from there it's only looking up from there, because then you're bringing in a whole new batch of investors that'll be in on it, right? So
they have. I mean, here's what's interesting is of all our companies, of like our kind of stable, Cloud has some serious institutional money coming into that stock. Mm-hmm. At this point of the game, they have real institutional money flowing in, and those guys kind of keep coming in as the stock goes higher. Because listen, some guys are they're squeamish about having a $2 stock on their books. Maybe if it's $10, then it's all psychological, which is
Well, for me, I'm kind of just leveraging Doc's gains and the safe gains on higher risk plays, right? So
okay, Paul's picks. Hammy, if you had one stock to choose, which would it be? We should charge for this.
Are we talking Wall Street Reporter stocks? I don't.
We have to do a commercial break here. Okay. Anybody watching this, we are on Discord. Join our channel on Discord, and also, even better, Telegram. Look for Wall Street Reporter, at Wall Street Reporter on Telegram. You got to get this Telegram. I just found out about this. I'm on it. It's amazing. Telegram on your phone, on whatever. Fantastic. Okay, now, Hammy, go ahead.
Is it got to be a Wall Street Reporter stock or?
You can say whatever you want.
Okay, I love Peak, but I think Lube Insights MTRX it's doing some really big things, and we've tried to work our magic, but hopefully soon.
Okay.
But I just
Peak. Not Peak. A Matrix. This is a guy that we were talking back in February, and for some reason we never got rolling with them. But I listen. I like the story.
I mean, you got a 30 mil market cap that's working with companies like TELUS, Amazon. That you don't hear about these little guys working with these big companies. So, and they're halted over the weekend. So we'll see what happens Monday morning. But they just announced some Shopify integration on Wednesday, and they're halted on Friday. So who knows?
Hey, are you into CBDT Empower?
Empower, I love. That's a great play. And now with we have some direction with the presidency. I know it's not completely done, but they're doing some great things. They're teamed up with Loop as well for contact tracing and testing, and they're kind of a telehealth play as well. They're at a great level right now too, and I'm expecting big things for them coming up. At 5.5 cents or whatever they are now, it's a cheap pick it up and let it go because they're doing some great things.
I agree. That one has what do you call it? It has you get that asymmetric returns there, and I'm just basically we're waiting for them to they got to do a couple things. They got to get the presentation together. I mean, they're busy closing the financing, so it's going to be like this week, next week, but we're gonna basically launch next imminently. And I'm expecting big things. I mean, that one is easily could be a 10 bagger. From where it is right now, 50 cents. It can go from 5 to 50. Why not?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like they got so much going on, and with the states.
Icann. Are you into Icann?
Oh, I love Icann. I'm already in Icann.
You got the machines, and also now you got the for anybody that doesn't know, tell them what it is.
What's that? Sorry.
For anybody that doesn't know, can you tell them what Icann is?
Okay, so
Icann. In your own words, what's the investment concept for Icann?
Okay, so for me, I'm always looking for step-changing tech, and Icann has that with their pre-roll machines. So they're able to produce 1,000 pre-rolls, premium pre-rolls, whatever.
Joints, marijuana.
Yeah, rolls. Yeah, pre-rolls. Because right now, most of the stuff that you're buying in the stores isn't pre-rolled. So their whole thing is they have these machines that pre-roll 1,000 rolls an hour, the exact same every single time. And that was the big challenge for them, was to find that balance to be able to produce the same thing, the same product each and every single time. So that kind of tech nobody's doing. There's the margins on premium pre-rolls are so low, even for Aurora and all the big names, that they're really not even pushing it that much. So I think this kind of tech could be a game changer. Like their white label, for them to sub out this technology and roll for other companies, they're pushing 40+% gross margins, which is huge for a white label product. And they're doing 40% gross profit on their own, selling their own products, and they're all over California. But for me, it's the technology, and the technology goes all the way back into their cultivation manufacturing too. I mean, they're producing premium flower at $1,000 and selling it for $2,800. There's just so many, there's multiple avenues to grow and scale. So for me, I think this is going to be a really good story, and I think it's going to start kicking off here in the next couple of weeks with revenues and a more clear path into the future. It's definitely one to check out. It's if cannabis is going to run, and these guys are a hidden gem in that kind of market.
So it's basically the technology, the machine, being able to create the pre-rolls, the joints.
Mm-hmm. Well, you think about it, why do we go to Starbucks to, we buy $4 coffees or whatever, because we know what we're getting every single time, right? We go, our taste buds are finicky, right? We know what we want. So, if you're buying a product it's different every time, you're going to be a little turned off by that when you can go get what you want, I guess, is for better.
So it's the key. It's the key. So basically, their technology. He also talks about a couple of other things, and they got because what's interesting. I think the takeaway for me is, this guy is very focused on. What is it? Always keeps repeating over and over. Superior gross margin. Superior
Yeah.
focus on superior gross margins. So they want to make. It's about making. Profits basically. So that's
Yeah.
that's the focus there. Let's see here. Okay, so what else we got here? What else? I logged in. I haven't done anything. I mean, I've just been. I'm not quite sure how to use the Discord yet. I'm just posting the videos there now with Hammy. So we'll see. Paul, are you talking about which one? Icann, or who are you talking about? Who's the 10 bagger? Hammy, you think is Icann? What's your target for Icann?
I think short term you're looking probably 2 or 3 times by Q4 end of the year, and then I think things will really start to roll. So I think it'll hit that 10-month kind of window, like you said, to be a 10 bagger.
Your thoughts? I don't know. I don't know anything about this. What do you? Can they license this?
Well, they don't really. They're not. I don't think they're really licensing it. They're white labeling it to other companies to produce for them. Because the problem is with premium pre-rolls, other companies are they're relying on manual labor to create their rolls, and their margins are so low. Like I listen to BNN Bloomberg all the time going into work, and they're talking about cannabis stocks struggling in the premium market to meet margins high enough to to make it profitable enough. So I think in that sense, if Icann can roll out these machines and start pumping out pre-rolls, like with cigarettes, like nobody rolls their own cigarettes anymore. So I think that's kind of where the cannabis market's going, and I think they're going to be kind of the trendsetters in the where that's going to kind of go.
Interesting. Okay, so what do you think? Do you follow Well?
I do. That's kind of how I found Doc at first. Somebody told me about Well, and then one of my first things that I do is look for the competition, see who they're up against, and that's kind of how I stumbled on Doc and fell in love. But I think Well, I feel like they're going to get bought out first. I think they're just building to get bought out.
Well is going to be bought out?
I think so. I think they're just building up to get bought out. I think they see what Doc is doing, and it seems like Doc's one step ahead for all these acquisitions. I just think they're one step ahead of them now. I think they've kind of overtaken them in terms of that. Dr. Hamza kind of alluded to it in one of the interviews that because they're doctors, because they have this platform, they own this platform, that they're seeing that they're getting a better bang for their buck, so to speak, when they're making these deals. So I do feel I do like Doc more than Well. I've always felt that way, even when it was 54 cents, and I think Doc will continue to gap up on Well.
Okay, here's a Canadian question. Hammy, any suggestions on a trading platform?
I mean, I just use my RBC, and I mean it's $10 a trade or whatever. But I don't trade that much. Like I'm not trading up and down. I typically will buy something and wait for it to hit that 2 or 3 times before I move it to something else. So
what different?
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of different things, but they all come with restrictions too. So with RBC, I can pretty much do whatever I want. The only restrictions come with the TFSA. When you invest with the TFSA, you can't invest in OTC stocks unless they are on an equivalent exchange like the TSE or TSXV.
Okay, so it's interesting. Okay, but also I think, look, the guys who have the free trading, I mean, they're selling the order flow. I mean, you're paying for it, on the execution. So there's no. Okay, so let's see here. Oh, here we go. This is Canadian questions there.
Save taxes if you've maxed your TFSA. Oh, like you mean if you're using a cash account? I'm not.
Don't know. Okay, so here Yazan is saying Icann can license their technology to other states outside of Cali. So
okay.
I guess basically their focus is they're going to own California because that's like the market, and then whatever. I guess that
makes sense.
Okay, so why isn't Doc moved to TSX? I don't know. They're probably working on it, right? I mean, you know?
Yeah, no, I kind of have a theory that they're trying to keep the stock price reasonable to so when they're doing these acquisitions that the guys that are buying in are getting a decent stock price for more incentive, I guess. I don't know if that's a thing, but that was kind of my feeling when it was still trading down around $2.
What is this RRSP? What is this?
Oh yeah, so yeah, RSPs, that's your registered retirement savings plan. So that's kind of like your shelter to save on paying tax. So you move some of your profits over into your RSP to reduce the amount of tax.
Roland. Okay, what are you drinking there? I have a cigar here. It was ready to go. I'm gonna be lighting. Right
I was
after.
too nervous to drink anything, so I just got coffee here.
Well, Ronald Reagan always used to have a glass of wine right before he did a big press conference.
Yeah, and I was doing Legos with my kids, so that kind of calmed my nerves.
Yeah. So no, you're doing great. You're doing great. We're gonna have to have you
Okay.
back. We'll have you. We'll have Paul. We'll have. Hey, I could put 10 guys on this thing.
That'd be awesome.
We could have like 10 guys.
Little
Whatever.
fireside chat here.
Yeah. So okay. So this is best way is put it off here. Okay. Okay. Let's wrap up. What's okay? So Hammy, this is probably past your bedtime with the kids and all that. We got probably people here. What is it? It's probably what is it? Pretty late in some areas.
Mm-hmm.
So to wrap up, what's your thoughts? We're Sunday night here. Sunday night. What's your thoughts on the week for big movers? Let's focus on the Wall and the kind of the stable of the super stocks. What are you expecting from the stable this week?
Well, I think Peak's got to keep going for sure. Like it just doesn't make sense where they're trading at for where the stock is for the revenues, and I think there's going to be some big news coming out. I think Icann's going to start to roll. We saw it move on Friday. It had a pretty big move. I think kind of looked like a short squeeze, but I think as long as we, keep, I think as long as the volume keeps picking up, I think we're going to have some good things with Icann. I think those are the two. I'm trying to think.
So you got Icann, Peak. Those are the two big. I mean, how many do you need? I mean,
yeah. I mean, I think those short term. I think those are probably looking good. Some of the other ones that are on here I don't have, but I definitely think Icann's ready to roll. I think Doc's gonna go, but I mean, like in terms of percentage, it'll move, but I don't think it'll move like something like Peak will.
But you don't know though. Here's an interesting thing with these type of stocks. It's like you don't know.
Exactly. It's just you don't. What I can say is I'm feeling pretty safe with those positions, regardless of if the market's up or down. I think long term they're going to be really good. But futures are flying, so it should be a pretty good day, I think.
Biden. Yeah. What is everybody sold in the Biden thing? This is it ain't over till the fat lady sings. There's still they got a recount. Thoughts on IP, Hammy?
I like IP long term. I think it's they got a lot of stuff going on, but I think they need some deals to start rolling in for it to get some traction. They had that the NFL alumni one and the Valencia, and I think the Valencia program rolls out this month, so we could see some interesting action there. I think the Slap-It-On deal the Slap-It-On program is starting up this month as well. So I think we could see some traction there. Keep an eye on that one. I think it's kind of dipping to a level where you could buy it back and probably flip a nice profit because there are some things coming up. And sports teams need to do something. Like they're bleeding out money from no fans. So any kind of fan engagement, fan interaction will be huge.
I was looking at the chart. The chart actually, it looks like there's like a base kind of here. So, and it seems like the last time it kind of hit this level, it had a run. So, and it's interesting. I think once they start showing some consistent traction with news, it'll be kind of game on, right?
Well, I think the Valencia thing's a catalyst to show everybody like exactly what they're capable of doing. So I don't think we've really had that. Yet to see exactly what they can bring for fan engagement. I think the Valencia program will really help that because they got 9 million fans around the world. So
How do they join
excited for that.
Discord? Discord. Tell them, how do they join Discord?
There's links posted. Somebody could probably post them in the chat, but if you want to, what's the best way?
Go to like discord.com and
No, I don't know if there's a way to.
On Twitter, if you were on our Twitter thing,
Yeah, I got a Twitter thing. You can follow me, Hammy_1022. You can follow me there, and I can send you all the links.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, there's your thing. There's your.
Yeah, here. Can I type it in here?
Yeah. Hang on. Yeah, put it in.
Where do
I type it in? Type it in. I'll pull down the banner here for a second, and it'll come up. So in your name, I guess.
One sec. It doesn't let me. Well, I can put a.
We'll figure it next. We'll have to have it next. I don't know how to do. I don't know how to do it here.
Yeah, it doesn't. There's nowhere for me to type here.
You guys got to chip in on cameras here.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Well, I wasn't sure how this was gonna go, but if I'm gonna be on again, I'll definitely make sure I get a better setup. I'm used to podcasts, so I got my podcast mic and everything like that. So.
No, the sound is great. I hear you. Oh! You have a mic. I just noticed that you got a mic thing going there.
Well, it's my earbud. Just
Oh, but there's a mic. Is there a mic there or not? Because the sound.
No. I got a blue snowball, like one of those big mics that capture sound.
The Yeti or something? The Yeti?
No, it's a blue snowball. It's not a Yeti. It's kind of old school. Okay. I used to have a podcast, so.
Okay. Oh, you got a fan. You got a fan.
Thank you. I don't know if I have the sex appeal that Paul does, but I try.
Okay. All right. So we're going to I think that's it. We'll wrap up. So the fast lane. We're gonna probably do a live stream talking specifically about the fast lane strategy, the new fast lane strategy Thursday. And but in the meanwhile, join the Telegram, join our Telegram thing, our channel Telegram, Discord, join the Hammy Discord channels, and we'll see you guys on the next live stream. Hammy, thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. We'll see you again next time.